Our story starts in a white room, but it's a normal room where our protagonist John Leonard excitedly wakes up and starts doing his morning exercises. Though these were a routine, today was special. Today was the first day of his school. He has clearly been waiting for this day for a very long time. And now dressed in his uniform, he gives his room one last look, closes the door and steps out in the new chapter of his life. As John left the room, he spotted an elderly man jogging. It was his 67-year-old grandfather, Dr. Matthew Lucian. John calls him out saying he's leaving, which is when he notices John, and after a heartfelt discussion between the two and a quick check to make sure John has everything, his grandfather sees him off. As Dr. Math resumes his jog, he has one final quiet thought for John. I hope you find what you are searching for. Which of course makes you question, what exactly is John searching for at a place like this? John arrives at the school and the sheer scale of it is breathtaking. 20 acres of pristine landscape dotted with magnificent buildings. He approaches the main gate, which scans and verifies his identity automatically. No guards, no manual checks. Modern technology sure is nice, he mutters to himself. As he walks, he spots another student, a red-haired boy who looks just as awestruck as he is. For a moment, John considers talking to him, feeling a sense of kinship with a fellow newcomer, but the boy glances at his watch, gasps and runs off. A missed connection? John shrugs it off with a smile, figuring he will have plenty of chances to meet new people. Maybe they will even be in the same class. Now precisely at 8:30, John made it to the main hall and he saw the red-haired boy, but they were in different lines, meaning they most likely won't be in the same class. Then a middle-aged man, Charles Richardson, the founder and the principal of the school, stepped onto the stage welcoming everyone, and we get to know that this was the first time John was attending an actual school, meaning he had never went to a school before, which is where his excitement stemmed from. Then we get to know that this school only accepts 390 students per academic session, out of which only 50 for high school. So among the millions, only 50 gets chosen. That makes the chances to get selected to be at least 1 in 20,000. Now we get some information of how their year will go.
So they have 4 years of high school with 4 terms per session, each term with 2 weeks of vacation in between, except for summer break where it will be a 6-week vacation, and each term will have 10 weeks of academic.
Don't worry about this stuff, you will get it moving forward. The baseline is they will be spending 40 weeks per year in this school. Now that shouldn't be hard because they are geniuses of this generation. After all, the acceptance rate of this school is at least 0.005%. So it has all the best minds humanity could offer. And that's precisely why John chose this school. He just smiles. He knew all of this brutal competitive environment. It's exactly why he came here. After the assembly, the students are guided to their classroom, grade 9, class B. Standing at the front is their homeroom teacher, Mr. Matthias Archibald. Spoiler alert, he's not bald, and he immediately shatters their expectations. Dressed in a casual white t-shirt and black trousers, he's relaxed, friendly, and has a disarmingly handsome smile. He's far cry from a rigid formal instructor they probably expected. Totally opposite to another teacher I know in a different school. He dives right into the school system. Of the 50 new students, 25 are placed in class A and 25 are here in class B. Your class placement, he explains, is based solely on your abilities. Then he lays out the perks, state-of-the-art facilities for every possible talent from sports to music to art, and the best part, it's all free. The school is funded by generous sponsors. Not only that, but students receives a monthly allowance on their ID cards which acts as currency on campus. And for a little extra motivation, the top 5 performers in each class gets bonuses. Now tell me I'm not the only one who was getting some Chabashira flashbacks here. At this point, the atmosphere was amazing. Everyone was loving Mr. Matthias and how he was presenting things. There were chuckles and murmurs going around, but they had no idea what was about to come. Or at least some students did had an idea. John meanwhile is taking everything in. He murmurs his thought aloud. He's impressive before catching himself. This habit of talking to himself was something John developed as a child because of limited social interactions in his life. So we see him going, I can't let them think I'm weird, I'm doing doing it again, though he thinks no one saw him as his voice was barely audible. Right then, Mr. Matthias Archibald wraps up his introduction. Alright, I will be leaving you all now. Enjoy a 10-minute break before your first period. Use the time wisely. And with a vague farewell, he was gone. And then, the moment the door closes, the room falls into a thick, awkward silence. 25 strangers, all geniuses, and not one of them knows what to say? This was something John expected, however, it wasn't the first thing on his mind. Another more important matter was taking place. I wanted to sit by the window. You see, John got an ordinary seat, third row, fourth column seat, and he really wanted the protagonist's seat. I mean, who wouldn't? So he recites his mantra. When you are dissatisfied, set a goal and work towards it, and focuses on the class's current situation. This awkwardness, he thought, was a good opportunity to make a good first impression and score some social points, and if lucky, he could become the class representative and even draw a crowd of admirers. And what we see here is that John doesn't hesitate in taking initiative, which is something I would want you to keep in mind when I reference it later in future chapters. This is his chance. He can take the lead, make a good impression, maybe even become the class representative. His mind was racing, formulating the perfect plan to win over his new classmates. He's just about to make his move to stand up and speak. Excuse me, everyone, may I have your attention? A split second before he could act, a beautiful girl with long brown hair and a mesmerizing violet eyes rises from her seat. She, of course, had a prime seat right next to the window. John couldn't help but feel a little envious. The girl, who we will soon know as Charlotte, gets straight to the point. These 10 minutes we have been given will likely shape the course of our lives here. I'd suggest we put this time to good use. A boy sitting beside her, engrossed in a book, says one word without looking up. Elaborate. Charlotte starts with a question. How many of us here graduated from this academy's middle school? She waits. No one raises their hand. Not a single one. You see, Richardson Elite Academy also had a middle school and 25 students from the middle school were supposed to be in high school. John looked around to see most students in tension and anticipation to hear what Charlotte had to say. However, some faces suggested they came to the same conclusion as her. It seems I was right, she says with concern. She explains her logic. The school graduated 25 students from its middle school last session. Since there are 2 first-year classes, that can only mean one thing. It means that those who have been educated here before have been placed in Class A. She declares. That leaves us, the newcomers, in Class B. Now that realization hits the students. This wasn't a random placement, it was deliberate. From the very beginning, Charlotte says, we have already started competing and this Class B might be on the losing end. John chuckles. The school has certainly lived up to the expectation. What was the motive? Why they took steps like this so early? What was the goal of the school? Thinking all of this, John's heart was racing more than ever. Some students looked like they were getting sad, but Charlotte doesn't let them despair. She argues that the school prides itself on fairness, so the scales must be balanced somehow. Her solution? They need to get to know each other to unite. That way, Class A won't have the upper hand. I'm Charlotte, and I'm delighted to meet all of you. And just like that, at her lead, the class begins its first move as a united group. Introductions. Now, I want you to stay with me during all these introductions. It will all make sense later. Like, think about it if you are actually in a new class and everyone starts their introductions. I'm going to go in order with their names. Ben Elias, Sophia Venla, Oliver Logan, Gabriel Lucas, Christopher Hitchens, Leonardo Lorenzo, Alisa Victoria, Mikael Rufus, Yusuf Omer, Lolad Oladiende, Daisuke Aizawa, Sunghan Su, Ida Sofia, Lara Marie Felix, Ali Eden, Alicia Beatriz, Joanna Isabel, Grace Klaus Gerard, and then comes John, and surprisingly it went normal. He wasn't weird or anything, it was a perfectly normal introduction. Then it continues. Annie Rovina, Noah Louise, Mia Elena. And the introductions end with all 25 students done. But John mentions that Mia Elena's statement contains some hidden intentions, so let's have a look at it again. She takes her time and begins with "Good morning everyone," and then makes eye contact with everyone, smiles, and then continues. "I am Mia Elena. I sincerely hope we can all foster strong bonds. thank you for your time. Now that doesn't seem like an odd statement at first glance, but the way it was delivered, it felt like she has pretty good experience in addressing a large group. And if she has the intention to be the lead of this class, well then she would have to go face to face with Charlotte Olivia, who right now seems like she will be the lead of the class. And John also turns his attention to Charlotte. He thinks she would make an excellent class representative. However, she's too naive. According to John, this much was expected and he couldn't understand what is there to figure out about class division. He inwardly scoffs at the idea that class B is at a disadvantage. He deduces that class A, being composed of former rivals from different middle school classes, is likely riddled with internal conflict, and those conflicts just don't go away on their own, and to merge several conflicting factions, it takes a really skilled leader, someone far more superior to Charlotte. And to top it off, their past knowledge of the school is probably obsolete in this new high school environment anyway. Class B, on the other hand, is a blank slate, a group of strangers meant to bond and function as a unit. The playing field, he realizes, is actually leveled already. He wonders if he's the only one who sees it and decides it's best to just observe quietly for now, to play his part. After all, that's why he chose this school. His deep, analytic thoughts, though, are then immediately interrupted by a much simpler one as he glances back toward Charlotte's desk. I really want that seat. Guys, I think he really wants that seat. Now, as this is going on, just then, at precisely 9 AM, the door swings open. Mr. Matthias is back. But his friendly smile is gone. His tone is now flat, almost robotic. Direct your attention to the right side of your desks, he commands. You will notice a discrete button. Press it. Hesitantly, the students obey. A hidden compartment opens, revealing a few items: headphone, a notebook, pens, and a smart tablet. What happens next sends a chill through the entire class. In just a few seconds, Mr. Matthias says, your devices will turn on and a survey sheet will materialize before you. Your task? In 3 minutes, type out the names of each one of your classmates. The introduction they just did, the ones Charlotte initiated to build unity, have just been weaponized against them. This was a test. Their very first one. There was no time to question it. Students were scrambling to get their tablets ready, hearts pounding, hands trembling, and with a final stern command, Mr. Matthias starts the clock. Your time starts now. What? Are you serious? 3 minutes to recall the names of 24 complete strangers. And it wasn't like you knew this was going to happen. And even if you do, can you really memorize all the names with the correct spellings? But they are the crema de la creme, the best of the best, the geniuses of this generation, right? So will they be able to do that? What about you? How many names do you remember? Do one thing, just comment the names that you remember right now. No cheating, alright? Don't go back. Just comment the names and let's see how much it is. And if this were to happen to me, I think I might have only been able to get a few names of the people I found interesting in the class. I definitely wouldn't have remembered more than 10 names. But this series, right from the first chapter, tells you that expect the unexpected. And with the future chapter, it's going to get better. So what do you think is going to happen next? Subscribe for the next chapter, or if you want to read it yourself, the links for the novel are in description. With that, I'll see you again with chapter 2 of High School Syndrome.